The other day I was thinking about how sometimes I forget that people get triggered now. And it's only because I communicate primarily with people that are individualized thinkers at this point. I communicate with people that know how to communicate, that don't take things too personally, but respect themselves enough to where if they do take it personally, they'll be able to speak up for themselves and they'll be able to say something. But I'm not actively going out of my way to say anything to hurt people's feelings or anything like that. And in the workplace and in the 9 to 5 jobs and all of that as well, you can't be like that. You can't be like that. And out in the communities that we are in the physical world, here on the digital civilization, we can speak however we want. We can do pretty much anything, but you still have a lot of keyboard warriors. And thankfully, though, that the community that we're building here is actually free thinking enough to where they understand that it's not personal. It's just talking about the truth and the spirit. And then you have the other kinds of people that have completely sold themselves out to the people that want to own them. And they've completely let themselves go. They've allowed themselves to be sold out because they want to be perceived to be living a life of riches and fame and status and clout, etc. And me, I don't necessarily want the fame. I want the power that comes with it, but I don't necessarily want the fame. And even when I say I want the power, I don't even want power for the sake of controlling. I want power for the sake of influence, because I believe that my principles and my values are going to be powerful enough to influence people in a positive way. And that's just the way that I think about it. And I haven't seen how my results and my actions dictate otherwise just yet. So this leads me to what the topic really is for today, which is how normal life just doesn't work for me. That's why I don't do it. I kind of created my own way. I created my own path. And I really didn't want to recreate the wheel, so to speak, but in some ways I had to recreate the wheel. And a lot of people get upset when I talk about like entrepreneurship or starting your own business or doing your own thing. And I'm not telling you guys to do your own thing because the world always is going to suck, because there's a lot of merit that the world has that is very valuable. There's a lot of experience to be had in the world, and there's a lot of experience to be understood with the world. And the people in it will teach you a lot about what not to do. So there's definitely merit there. But I think where people get the most things wrong about, starting something for yourself, for example, is obviously it's going to be a lot more effort. And a lot of the arguments that you would say that is against entrepreneurship or starting your own thing is, well, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of money investment. It's going to take a lot of money that time that you're not being paid for. And it's like, well, it depends on how you think about it, I suppose. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in the product or the service that you're providing? Because I do. I believe in myself. I believe in who I am and what I'm about. And I believe in what I'm actually striving to accomplish, which is to help people grow closer to God, build their brand or their purpose, to help build their body to be as strong and as durable and as flexible as possible, and then also strengthening healthy relationships. I don't see any of those things to be leading a civilization to a downfall. Whereas you see people of all different kinds start businesses like cupcakes or like crystals or anything that is not really applicable to the world. Like all of these Reiki healers, for example, if you want to get into the spiritual stuff, there's a lot of witches that are Reiki healers. And these people, they're not trying to actually help. They're actually trying to get your money, okay? And how do I know this? Because I tried to participate in it. And they wanted to tickle your ears. They didn't even know. This is the craziest thing. They didn't even know that they were just trying to get your money. They didn't even know. Some of these people actually thought they were trying to help you by tickling your ears, making you feel good. You're not going to get this kind of stuff on this channel. I'll guarantee you that. Within this kind of stuff that we're talking about here, no, we're not going to be tickling anybody's ears. We're not going to be flattering anybody. We're going to be speaking the truth, and we're going to be living a dignified life filled with integrity as well as that. So you have to really understand what is your aim? What is your goal? And is what you're doing going to lead you toward a more prosperous life with abundance? And again, it's not always about the abundance. It's not always about the prosperity, even though, excuse me, that is something that God will give you. And God's going to reward you in ways that you might not know is a reward until it passes. And like the Bible says, as easy as things come, as God gives and God takes away just as easy, right? So we have to recognize that the things that we're doing in our life are not always going to be applicable to everybody, especially if you're not wanting to live that normal life. But if you want to live that normal life, this channel is not for you, man. And that's okay. Maybe there's something that you can still get from this channel if you're wanting to live that normal life. Because I'm not telling you to quit your 9-to-5 job. I'm not telling you to just up and go do your own thing and leave the old life behind. No. You got to be strategic about it. Use your day job to fund whatever it is that you're trying to do. And if you want to talk about deep conversations and such, stop surrounding yourself with people that are surface level. A lot of people want to be around people that are surface level and then expect to have deep conversations. And it's like you realize that you're talking to like an NPC, right? You realize that the NPC only can come into a conversation with preconceived notions and preformed thought algorithms to spew out. And any kind of authenticity that you bring to the table is going to be subjected to misunderstanding very easily. That's going to be something that is very apparent in your way of life. And if you don't really get that, if you don't really understand that, then I don't think you're as awake as you want to believe you are, which is fine. But because it's a never-ending journey, this path of growing closer to God. It's always a never-ending journey, and it's a very beautiful thing to be thinking about and to be participating in as well, because you never really know what the next day is going to bring. You know, I had a day yesterday where it was just really, if I had to spell out a day that I would want for the rest of my life, like if I were to be doing that the rest of my life, there would be no issues whatsoever. Like, that is exactly the kind of day that I would want all the time. I woke up, I went to the gym, I had a couple business meetings, I had a couple of calls for consultations, I ate some food, I got some active rest for a minute, did some research, and I had another meal, had a couple more calls, had another meal, went on a walk, played some guitar, sang a little bit, did some more research, worked a little bit more, did some more projects and such that I have, journaled, read, called it a day. And it was beautiful. that would be the kind of day that I want all the time. And so I am making sure that everything that I'm doing is in accordance to that. I'm making sure that I'm increasing the probability of what I want to see my life to be increase ever so more each day, because I refuse to be a puppet on a string. And whether you think that you are or not, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, if you're participating in the world, you're doing these degenerate things that you know are degenerate, but you don't want to admit it to yourself, or you're wondering why you cannot find purpose and meaning when you're participating in these things. It's like, well, what exactly are you hoping to have happen if you participate in these things? Are you hoping to get enlightened by smoking or drinking, or what exactly are you aiming for when you're participating in these things? Or is it just earthly pleasures? And if it's just earthly pleasures, then I would encourage you to move towards spirituality. Then this is kind of like a second part to what we've just talked about up until this point, because once you get to a point now, because the practical stuff is now out of the way, now we get to more of the deeper spirituality stuff. And this is where you start to really question the world. You start to question everything. You start to question reality. What exactly is reality? You'll find that a lot of the times, the things that you find most intriguing are completely misunderstood and not comprehensible to quote-unquote ordinary people. The ordinary person is not necessarily wanting to participate in the grand scheme of reality. For example, last night on my walk, it was a bit dark, and so the stars were out. And I got rid of all my preconceived notions. I was looking at the stars as if I was looking at them for the first time, and just looking at it with complete and utter awe, asking myself, what is that? Like, if I had to completely forget about everything that I thought I knew, or of everything I've heard, if I were to just look at those stars or those glowing dots in the sky, that's because I like let go of the name that I had for them, and I looked at them and I just thought, man, what are those glowing dots in the sky? What are those exactly? And it was funny because nothing came to mind. Like, I would have no clue what those are without any kind of the technology or the history that we've had, or anything that we've been brought to believe about what's true about space and the stars. I would have no clue. Just looking at that with my naked eye, I would have no clue what those things are. All I would know is that they're really pretty to look at, and it for some reason brings me peace to look at the stars. Like, there's something majestic about it, and I don't know why. That was the kind of thing, like, these are the kinds of things that ordinary people, the NPCs, they don't want to think about. And that's why normal life isn't for me. I would rather think about this kind of stuff. I would rather think about the philosophies of life. I would rather think about the stars. I would rather ponder the infinitudes of the universe more so than all of this other BS that's going on. Taxes, insurance, government, politics. Blech. Like, I get it. We live in this three-dimensional world, so we've got to participate in it. We've got to be in the world, but not of it. But man, is it annoying. Like, man, is it annoying, and man, is it exhausting sometimes to have to participate in this world with some people. It's like, man, like, I have to love you because God commands me to, but otherwise, man, God help you. God help you. That's how I view some of these people. And it's not because I think I'm better than them. It's just, you know what? Maybe it is because I think I'm better than them. And this is not like an arrogant way. It's just like I'm making better decisions and I know that I'm doing something better with my life. I know that I'm putting in the work. I know that while they're out partying, while they're out being degenerates, I'm working. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm actually trying to build something with my life. I'm trying to do something that is beyond me and for the glory of God. So yeah, maybe I do think that I'm better in that sense. Doesn't mean that I'm like better in the sense of holier than thou, but yeah, I'm making better decisions. It's not my fault I'm better. It's not my fault I'm the best in my community here in the physical world, but it is what it is. I also want to appreciate everybody that's been moving from YouTube over to X and Rumble, and all of the messages that I've received on Instagram, the DMs that I've received. That's been really great for the support there. I also want to appreciate everybody that's been in the Regal Change Academy, in the Discord, and in the paid community. If you're interested in joining either of those, where we're doing exactly what I talked about earlier, helping people grow closer to God, building their finances or building their businesses, building their brand, building their purpose, building their bodies, and helping their relationships stay strong and healthy. These are going to be the places to go for you. And the link is in the description box below that you can check that out. And with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.